What is up, everyone? It is I, DPX, and here it is, my every show I saw in 2025, that came out in 2025, that is, ranked. Normally, this will be like the last, like, year-end video that I do, right? I will, like, the year starts, and I'll normally have, like, my most anticipated games, my favorite, like, the ranking of all the movies I saw and all the shows I saw. That one is normally last. I'm working on the most anticipated games list, and the movie ranking. I'm still working on that a little bit. There's still a few movies I want to see before I put that video out. But I figured I've seen all the shows I wanted to see in 2025, so I figured I'm just gonna do this right now. I don't have a whole lot. I don't know if okay, you could see it. You can see on the bottom, these are all the shows I saw. You may have noticed there's no F tier, but there's an E tier. Because, like, I don't think I saw any shows that's, like, worthy of an F tier, right? Now, some of these were disappointing. Some of these were, I would even say, are not good. But I wouldn't say that they're F tiers, right? Like, they didn't frustrate me to the extent that an F tier movie would, or an F tier show would, right? I do have an E tier though, which means that it's still bad, but it's like obviously a tier above F tier. So I don't have any F tiers this year. But what I do have instead, which I just added now, is how do I rank these? So how that one, we're gonna kick it off with Fallout, Fallout Season 2. I don't know how I rank this one because we're talking about shows that were in 2025, right? Fallout technically is, like Fallout Season 2 that is, technically is a show from 2025, but it started like at the end of 2025, and the rest of the season is gonna be out, you know, in 2026, this year. So it's hard for me to rank this, like, against like all the other shows on here that have like basically a complete season. I say basically because some of them that I will actually rank on the tier list are they're not quite complete, but we'll get to that. I will say though, I think as an adaptation, Fallout is like among the best for video game adaptations, and this season already it's off to a great start. I'm really enjoying, like, you know, what they're doing with Lucy and the Ghoul. You know, I didn't watch the newest episode, the one that came out on like New Year's. I didn't watch that one. The last thing I saw was Kumail Nanjiani is in the show. I didn't know he was going to be in the show, so that's pretty cool. And they're gearing up to do New Vegas. I'm excited to keep watching, but yeah, I'm not quite sure how to rank this among with all the others. It will probably be, since more of the season will come out, and we'll have a complete season by the end of the year, actually, and more of it will be out in this year. So I will probably, like, when I rank all the shows I saw from 2026, this one will probably be a proper part of the ranking. And the other show in how do I rank these is Star Wars Skeleton Crew. I forget about this show a lot, but it was a fun little show. You know, it's weird. This was in between, like, The Acolyte, which was terrible. Like, probably one of, if not the worst Star Wars show, like, at least of the legitimate Star Wars shows. You know, there's some Star Wars shows that are like, you know, no one really cares. But this one, like, The Acolyte was, like, supposed to be, like, you know, this big deal and all that. So it's this weird one where it's in between that, like, huge letdown and Andor, which we'll get to later, because kind of like the opposite of The Acolyte. And in between that, we got Skeleton Crew, which was, I really enjoyed it. I don't have anything major wrong with it, like any serious issues with it. You know, it just wasn't, it's not perfect or anything. I did actually rank it among all the other shows when I, from last year, right? Even though it wasn't complete, but like there was like 1 or 2 episodes left to air. Right. Yeah, no, really good show. It's so weird. It's like I watched it a year ago. it's kind of weird. But now we're gonna get into the list proper. We're starting off with a bang. Andor Season 2. And that is S tier. For a while, I was thinking, like, I was unsure, is this the best thing? Star Wars, the Disney Star Wars? Like, I guess it is, but like, is it the best Star Wars thing? Movie or show, even game, since the, well, I don't know about game. Yeah, I'll even say game. Since the original trilogy, is it? because, you know, you got the Clone Wars. If we're talking about games, we're talking about, like, Knights of the Old Republic. Yeah, it is. It's honestly baffling to me that this is in the exact same franchise and takes place in the same world as other, like, shows like The Acolyte and Ahsoka and Obi-Wan. And I actually liked Obi-Wan more than most people did. But Book of Boba Fett as well, oh my god, I forgot about that one. But, like, it's night and day. Like, but this season, like, everything comes to a head. Everything, like, you know, it basically just plays right into Rogue One. And I like what they did with, like, there's 12 episodes. They each get released in 3-episode chunks. And each 3 episodes, each of those chunks is like a year that happened. And yeah, sure, at the beginning of the season, you get some questionable things like Andor, like Cassian Andor getting trapped onto a planet. Like, really, that's what we focused on? Or like, a wedding. We spent a lot of time on a wedding. Really? But like, when we get into the later half of the season, whole protests, wars go on. The confrontation between Cyril and Andor, like, was so well done. Just everything that went down those last 6 episodes is some of the best Star Wars I have ever seen, and I cannot believe that we got some of the output within this franchise that we did for the past few years. When Lucasfilm and Disney are capable of hiring writers and showrunners that can deliver something as good as Andor. This, like, it's not just a good Star Wars show, it's a good show. Like, you could watch this without any knowledge of Star Wars, and I think you'll get a lot out of it. I think anyone can watch this. It's a recommendation I have for literally anybody. I'm not gonna put everything in S tier, but there are 2 S tiers in a row, and the second one is Cobra Kai Season 6 Part 3. I was gonna put this in How Do I Rank These because, well, last year I put Part 1 and 2 in How Do I Rank These. And also this, again, it's Part 3 of a 3-part season, right? This is like the last 5 episodes of a 15-episode season, right? So it's not the full thing. But I realize, yes, it's not the entire season, but it is like a set of episodes. It does have like its own like overarching story throughout the 5 episodes, right? It is like its own sort of mini season. And I'll admit, I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. There's some serious bias. Cobra Kai is like a top 3 favorite show for me of all time. But it was kind of like Season 6 with Part 1 and even Part 2, although I did thoroughly enjoy Part 2 a lot more. But Part 1 and Part 2 were kind of like, they felt like the weakest of the show, right? Like, some episodes, like, genuinely, like, I thought were just like, this is Cobra Kai, what am I watching? Like, but with season, or I should say Part 3, like, they wrap things up, and they, like, it really sticks to the landing. I feel like most shows actually don't stick to landing, like, more than you realize. Like, it's more often for a show to not stick the landing than it is to stick the landing, right? This show sticks to the landing. You know, I'm gonna spoil it just because it's been out for almost a year, but there were leaks that said, like, this show is gonna end with Johnny, you know, winning the Sekai Taikai as a sensei of Cobra Kai. And I thought, like, after everything he went through to leave Cobra Kai and put that behind him, and for him to just go back to it, that's how the leaks, the leaks kind of read in a way that felt lazy. But the way it's done in here, it's a bit contrived, but I still think it really works. And even some other stuff that that I wasn't a big fan of from, like, the first, like, 2 parts of the season, like, specifically Daniel and, like, his obsession with, like, Miyagi's past. I think that actually gets concluded very nicely in Part 3. So yeah, not a great season, but a great 3rd part of the season that does kind of round out the entire season. And I believe Cobra Kai is one of the greatest shows of all time. It is so fucking good. I love it so much. And I'm sad that it's over, but I'm also kind of happy. I I think like they stopped where they needed to, right? Castlevania Nocturne Season 2. God damn, I saw this. I watched it. This was like beginning of 2025, and I remember being like really sick when I saw this, and I was not doing good, you know. So I kind of don't remember too much of this show. I guess it's a perfectly fine season. I thought the first season was really solid. Yeah, and like this season kind of, I do remember they kind of wrapped up a lot of things, and it felt like this was possibly like the final season. And I don't think they've greenlit a third season, but there's still room for a third season, right? And sometimes you can say that and spin that into a good thing. I don't think that's a good thing here. Like it like left some major, like, it's not like sometimes you have like you tie up all the loose ends, but you leave the door open for a sequel or another season with some plot lines. Like, no, there's some major plot lines that are left hanging. I'll give it a B. This is not bad. Daredevil Born Again. This is an interesting one. I didn't, like, a lot of people consider this a disappointment. I don't think it's that bad. I actually really enjoyed Daredevil. In case you guys don't know, like, I got my holy trinity of shows. There's Breaking Bad, Avatar: The Last Airbender are interchangeable, and then number 3 for me is Cobra Kai. I don't know if it's number 4, but like pretty close, just outside of the holy trinity for me, is Daredevil, the original Netflix show, right? Even though it got canceled and it didn't, and you didn't, like, we didn't get to see the conclusion, the way season 3 ended is actually kind of satisfying, right? But we all wanted more Daredevil, and we finally got it. So this was perhaps my most anticipated show of the year, that and Andor, and by default Cobra Kai as well. But it had like a weird production. The show was apparently bad enough to where the writers were fired, and they got like the writers of the original team, and they brought back characters from the original show, and now connected it to that original show. But they had like they had like the entire season shots. So what we ended up getting was a bit of a Frankenstein's monster of a season of television. But I think like with that in mind, it's very coherent and makes a lot of sense, and like works. Like, I think it works. It's still not as good as any of the 3 seasons of the original Daredevil show. You know, and there's like certain things like Muse, like they really built up Muse as this like real like horrible villain. Even in the trailers hinting that like that Daredevil and Kingpin have to team up to defeat Muse. And what we got in the show is what we got. But there's still some great moments. The action when there's not CGI, there's some times where there's CGI in it, but the action when there's not CGI, it slaps. When Punisher shows up, that one episode in the middle of the season where Punisher shows up was great. There's a lot to love in Daredevil Born Again, but yeah, they are doing more seasons of the show. They're coming out with season 2 this year. Then they want to do it yearly, and this season's gonna be like fully like the new writers, or like the original writers, I guess, and like fully like the new and improved version. So I'm gonna put this in B. Invincible Season 3. This one is an S tier. This one feels a lot bigger than, like, it feels like bigger and like as like important and dramatic as like the first season did. I really loved season 2, don't get me wrong, but season 2, first of all, like, you killed the season's momentum by splitting it, by like doing a mid-season break for like 3 months for absolutely no reason, and it was never really able to like gain its momentum back. This season, first of all, no mid-season break. Second of all, like, it just kept going. Like the hits kept hitting. You know, the stuff with like the multiversal thing with like all the different versions of Invincible like taking over the world, and it's just like a big old like war happens. Like, that was sick. And then Conquest, my god, the fight between Mark and Conquest, so good, you know. And the dialogue, like especially the like, I live to see the future, you don't live to see tomorrow, like that. Oh, chills. And the way they developed the relationship between Mark and Eve, that too, like, I feel like we've kind of been waiting to see them do that since season 1, right? They've been setting that up since season 1, and it's satisfying in season 3. Some issues here and there, like fake deaths, you know, some characters that were supposed to be dead, that supposedly died in season 2. One character in particular as well, who supposedly died in season 2, comes back in this season, and it's like, okay, like, come on now. But yeah, no, very strong season, and worthy of S tier. Peacemaker season 2. Okay, back when I ranked all the shows I saw in like 2022, I believe it was, Peacemaker was an S tier. When I reviewed that show, I gave it a 10. Cause it was funny, but also like heartfelt and dramatic, and like just the writing was really good. And it was just a really solid season of television, and like among the best DC shows of all time. Penguin might have beaten it, but I've not seen Penguin. I gotta watch Penguin. Peacemaker season 2 is not bad, but it's weird and disappointing. I checked. We spend like over half of the season watching Argus trying to break into Peacemaker's house, and it's like kind of just ridiculous, right? While we establish this other universe where everything looks, Chris Smith, you know, Peacemaker, he's all depressed, right? So we establish this other universe where everything's like amazing. You know, he has his brother's still alive, and his dad is like a good person, right? And obviously, like, when you set up this perfect world, like, there's obviously got to be something wrong with it, right? And the twist that they have is, you know, it's good and it's well done, but like we spend so much time building that up, and then we spend 2 episodes at that other world, and then we come back, and then the finale's like this weird like thing where like Rick Flag Sr. has like this complete arc that I don't know why I said complete. This completely out of nowhere arc where like that just feels unearned and completely random. Like his morals and his like and the decisions, like he has like a lot of his like team members dying and just doesn't really care, and like just a bunch of stuff that like just doesn't seem right for his character, and that you can build that up. You can have him go through an arc where he's like, he kind of becomes more and more corrupt and more like, you know, like twisted, and like he doesn't give a fuck about other people, but that like it just like that, just like it just didn't make sense, like all of a sudden. And we montage through some seriously like, you know, crazy stuff, you know, like that probably should have been the focus of the entire season, and we montage through it in the finale. And then the way the episode ends, it kind of just ends on like, it's just a disappointing note, because it just like there's cliffhangers, and then there's this, you know, some cliffhangers, they could be like satisfying and like, you know, oh, I really want to see where this goes. This one, not so much. And there's no plans for a season 3 either. That's unfortunate, because I like I'll even say I love a lot of the other stuff. Like the writing, like the character writing is really good, aside from Rick Flag, but like the writing for Chris, for Peacemaker, is like great. And again, John Cena gives an amazing performance that I didn't even know he was capable of. And it's funny too, the jokes do not miss, especially bird blindness. But like, it's just a weird season. I have to give it C. The Last of Us season 2. Another show where the first season I gave it a 10 out of 10. And then this season, I don't know what happened. Now, it's not a bad season of television, you know, but it's not a particularly good one either. Like, I know I was not as harsh on it when I reviewed it. I gave it like a 7. I think it's more like a 6, you know, which is a D. So I'm just letting you know it's a D tier. First of all, there's like a lot less episodes of this season than there are of season 1. Which is already like strange enough. But the other thing is, I think season 1 is perhaps the greatest adaptation of of a video game ever. Like, it doesn't, like, adapt everything 100% faithfully, but what it does do, like, some things that maybe wouldn't work from adapting it from a game to a show, they change some things and they work. This season does change things, but for the worse. Like, Ellie's, like, the main problem. She is not, like, likable at all in this show, and this has nothing to do with Bella Ramsey's performance, because Bella Ramsey's doing, like, they're still doing an absolutely great job with this performance, but, like, in the second game, which is divisive, I'm not even the biggest fan of the second game, but if you're gonna adapt the second game, at least, like, do it right. The second game, you have Ellie become, like, this ruthless, cold-blooded killer. In this season, Ellie kills people by accident, right? I understand, like, you're always gonna face hurdles adapting a game as, like, divisive and as contested as The Last of Us Part 2, right? Like, though the issues that people have with that game, you were gonna have with the show, but it feels like they just tried to play it safe. They didn't take risks. You know, the revenge tour that, like, Ellie goes on in the game, in the show, it's like this funny road trip with her and Dina. And, like, Dina's probably, like, the best part, like, the best character of this season. She's great, but, like, the relationship between her and Ellie, like, why does Dina like Ellie? Like, it's not like before you say, like, I'm bigoted or anything like that. No, I don't. In the game, it makes a lot more sense. In the show, though, Ellie's just written to be so unlikable, but then acts woe is me when she kills someone. Plus, like, Joel, the moment with Joel. They had to do that. I understand they had to, like, that's a major part from the game where they kill off Joel. You had to do that in this show, in this season. And I will say, everything up to that point, like, even including the episode where Joel dies, I will say is really good. But my god, it's just like I don't know what happened here, you know? Like, it just doesn't, like, they killed all the show's momentum with, like, everything that happened after Joel dies. I don't know what happened here. Squid Game Season 3. Do you guys know that Squid Game Season 3 came out this year? Did you even know there was a Season 2? Did you even know that this was the final season? E tier. This one's the worst of the seasons I saw. Now, it's not like, again, I put an E tier, not F tier, because I don't have any F tier worthy shows here. But, like, kind of a slap in the face. I actually enjoyed Season 2, but even, like, I would say, like, that, like, Season 2 does not need to exist. But it's also weird because Season 2 and Season 3 were shot all together, but then split up to be 2 different seasons. There's significantly less episodes in Season 3 than there is in Season 2. But either way, like, it kind of just feels like a bunch of nothing. Like, Season 1 is nearly perfect. Like, maybe the stuff with the, like, the cop searching for his brother, like, I'll live without that. And, like, the ending twist, not a huge fan of that one, but other than that, like, Season 1 was, like, really well done, and it had something to say. Season 2, and in this case Season 3, they kind of just say the same thing. Season 3 doesn't say anything, and, like, it's the way it ends is just like, what? Like, nothing gets accomplished, nothing, like, just nothing. I feel like nothing happens. Like, we didn't need 2 other seasons. We didn't need all this to happen. We, like, just feels unnecessary. And, like, Season 3, you have, like, an antagonist, like the antagonist within the games, right? But his heel turn just comes out of completely fucking nowhere. Like, just like, what? And we're gonna get more Squid Game. We're gonna get, like, the original show is done, but we're getting an American spin-off and some other spin-offs. Maybe I'll watch it, but, like, Squid Game's become, like, the one thing that the original season was criticizing, which is kind of funny if I'm gonna be honest. WWE Unreal. I feel like every year I got some sort of wrestling related thing on one of these lists. This one got a lot of criticism from people within the wrestling space. It's basically a look at behind the scenes stuff done in WWE. I'm a wrestling fan in case you guys couldn't tell. And I always thought it was unnecessary because it feels like it is kind of saying like, hey, this thing you guys like watching, wrestling, it's fake. Did you guys know that it's fake? Which, is, like, wrestling fans don't like it when you say that. I will say it was kind of cool to see some, like, the production going on during matches. And there was a lot of, like, creative decisions made in WWE throughout, like, within this past year that got a lot of criticism from people. I'm not going to say I agree with them now after watching this show, but they gave me, like, an insight into, like, the mindset behind some of these decisions. And I understand them. I don't quite love these decisions, though, but I understand them, which did something. But other than that, it didn't really do anything else. I could have gone without watching this show, and nothing could have changed, really. Like, my perception on wrestling has not changed at all. And kind of an unnecessary show, being like, hey, this is what happens behind the scenes. And it's like, we all kind of knew that. So I'm gonna give it a C because it accomplishes nothing. Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Now this one, this was a year ago. This one feels like a long ass time ago. It was like the beginning of 2025. We're at the beginning of 2026 now, so it's been a year. I thought it was really solid. I thought it was a fun show to watch. They released the episodes weirdly. It was like, the first week was like the first 2 episodes, and the next week was the next 3, and then the next week was the next 3, and then the next week was the next 2. Really weird way to release episodes of a show. That was weird. But I thought it was a solid little take on. It was almost like Spider-Man in the MCU, but instead of Tony Stark being like that millionaire father figure, it was Norman Osborn, and Peter Parker's working at Oscorp. And I like the dynamic between Peter and Norman. I feel like we don't always see like a dynamic between Peter Parker and Norman Osborn, with Norman Osborn as like Peter's father figure, right? And this show, I feel like it introduced like a lot of new characters. Like maybe these characters existed in the comics or something, but like I don't remember Nico. And she was pretty cool. She was like his fucking Peter's best friend, and that was cool to watch. It loses points for me though, because where like the finale was kind of just like felt very separated from the rest of the show. Like, it was definitely set up at the beginning of the season, but like it just sort of I don't know, the finale just felt like, we spend the entire, we set something up in the first episode, then we spend the rest of the season on this, like Peter, in, doing Spider-Man things and doing, school stuff, and then the finale gets back to the things that's set up in season 1 that feels pretty, separate from everything else. That was weird, but it was a solid show, nothing too crazy. I'm gonna give it a B. Another season's coming out this year, and I'm interested to see that, though. Lastly, this was supposed to be in alphabetical order, but I don't know what happened here. But lastly is Smiling Friends Season 3. And I'm going to give this an A tier. I don't think Smiling Friends misses. I don't actually know what the consensus is on this season, but it seems like the show's just growing in popularity. Now, I will say the season's technically not done. They released 8 episodes, and then they're gonna release the next 2 randomly. So they make ranking the show hard for people like me, and basically only me. It's not like it's an overarching story where I need to know the finale in order that really affects its placement. No, it doesn't really work like that. These are all it's an episodic show where you have Pim and Charlie, they're the Smiling Friends, and get a call to make someone laugh, or make someone smile rather, and then they go and make someone smile, and just a bunch of crazy shit ensues. It is hard to talk about this one in the same way as the others, because I can't really it's not like, oh, these big arcs get paid off at the end of the season. That's not really how this one works. You know, it's just it's situational. It's episodic. It's not serialized, but there's some really good episodes. The Halloween episode was really good. The one with Squim was amazing. The Glep episode was great. A tier, yeah, definitely. I just I don't quite think it's S tier. You know, I don't know. I don't feel like this season's as strong as season 1 or 2, but very, very solid season of Smiling Friends. That's my tier list, but in case you were wondering the order of which these shows will be in, I'm going to do that right now. First off, before we get to the actual ranking, we got how do I rank these? We got Skeleton Crew, and then Fallout Season 2. Now, for the actual ranking, from worst to best, Squid Game Season 3, The Last of Us Season 2, WWE Unreal, Peacemaker Season 2, Castlevania Nocturne Season 2, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, Daredevil Born Again, Smiling Friends Season 3, Invincible Season 3, Cobra Kai Season 6 Part 3, and at number 1, Andor Season 2. So yeah, that's my ranking of all the shows I've seen in 2025. 2026 shaping up to be a really great year for games and for movies. I'm not quite sure about shows. I'll need to look at what shows are coming out this year. Yeah. Anyways, be sure to like the video, comment, subscribe. Oh, I don't think I made a threat at the beginning. Just subscribe, okay?